Welcome back. Vice President Kamala Harris set to roll out her economic agenda today during a rally in North Carolina where she is calling for a, quote, federal ban on corporate price gouging on food and groceries. Harris will also reportedly announce a plan to give first-time homebuyers up to $25,000 in down payment assistance. Former President Trump holding a press conference yesterday and slamming Harris for not acting on these policy proposals during her time as vice president. Watch.
A radical California liberal who broke the economy, broke the border, and broke the world, frankly. Very destructive to the entire world because as we go, oftentimes the world goes. She destroys everything she touches. Harris has just declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority for her. It's going to be day one. But day one, really, for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Where has she been, and why hasn't she done it?
Joining me now is Kentucky Congressman Andy Barr, member of the House China Select Committee, Foreign Affairs Committee, and Financial Services Committee. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you.
So what are you expecting? We're going to get to your op-ed in a moment. I know you've got an op-ed in the Journal, but what are you expecting from Kamala Harris when she talks about her economic plans?
Well, this is not really a plan. It's a full embrace of socialism, and it shows that Kamala Harris has actually been in charge the last 3.5 years. This is radical redistributionist socialism that has given us a 40-year high inflation, 20% inflation, and lower real inflation-adjusted wages. This is doubling down on the failed Biden-Harris strategy of the last 4 years. Price controls is not the answer to inflation. Socialists like Kamala Harris refuse to understand basic supply and demand. It's their fiscal policy errors that created the supply-demand mismatch that pushed prices up on groceries and housing and rent. And if they think that more of the same is going to fix the extreme cost of living that they have foisted on the American people, they're sadly mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, look, inflation is still an issue, and she's trying to address it by blaming companies. She's not discussing her spending spree over the last 4 years, $7 trillion in spending and borrowing, Inflation Reduction Act, the Fiscal Responsibility Act, forgiveness of student debt, CHIPS Act, green energy tax credits. I mean, she's got to pay for her climate change agenda somehow. We understand under embargo that she's going to say she's going to cut taxes for the middle class with a $6,000 tax credit per child. But how is she going to cut taxes and also pay for her green agenda?
Well, exactly right. And the cause of inflation is these kinds of central planning policies where excessive spending created huge excess demand in the economy, and then the threat of higher taxes and over-regulation over the last several years constrain the supply of everything, paying people to not work, constrain the supply of labor. The war on American energy goes into everything. And so that pushed the cost of building materials up. The new green energy standards in the so-called Inflation Reduction Act or the Green New Deal, all of that increased prices, increased the cost of construction. And the supply-demand mismatch is something that she cannot repeal now. In fact, everything she's proposing today would continue the misallocation of resources. The private sector, as you said, Maria, the private sector is not the problem. Excessive government intervention is the problem. That's what caused this in the first place. And this plan is more of the same, more government intervention into the economy that will create huge dislocation, discouraging private investment. The answer to inflation is more supply of everything, more supply of energy, more supply of labor, more supply of capital. And everything that I hear from Kamala Harris is more government intervention that would discourage private investment.
And you write a bit about this in your op-ed today. You've got an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal with former Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Jay Clayton. It's titled The March of Folly Over ESG Investing. You write this: the march reached new heights in the Biden administration when the Securities and Exchange Commission proposed one-size-fits-all climate disclosure measures that can be shoehorned into the simplistic take an index and apply an ESG screen investment model, giving an additional undue validation. You say the SEC does not know how the energy transition will play out, nor does it know which measures can gauge how a company will perform during the transition. Congressman, when they first came out with all these rules, I was getting so many emails from Wall Street people, analysts and executives saying these laws are going to force us to cut jobs. These new regulations are going to force us to tighten up in terms of our own spending, because it's these rules and regulations that is making it hard to get anything done. Congressman, tell us more about what's in this op-ed this morning.
Yeah, two reasons why the environmental, social, and governance investing phenomenon has been a disaster for our country and for our financial markets. Number one is it misallocates resources. So your 401k is underperforming now. If you're over-invested in the ESG investments, you are misallocating resources. You're, by definition, not invested in a diversified portfolio. ESG by design is not diversified, and so it's understandable why ESG investment strategies have underperformed the broader market. Number one. Number two is it's huge, very costly for public companies. It would these mandates that the Securities and Exchange Commission has put on these public companies to disclose all of this information that's really not material to investors is very, very costly and is clearly designed to bully companies into doing things very inefficiently and allocating capital inefficiently. So the bottom line is this is another example of how Biden-Harris policies have encouraged a misallocation of capital, diminishing returns for retail investors, and punishing those very companies, manufacturers and energy companies that actually are needed to supply the economy to get our inflation picture back into balance.
Yeah, it's a great op-ed and it's an important read. I want to switch gears, ask you about China on your select committee there. Look, when are we actually going to see an acknowledgement that there are Chinese companies who trade on our exchanges that are tied to the military in China? So you've got a wide open opportunity for investors to be investing in Chinese companies under the guise of, oh, growth, 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 and yet they are actually working against America. And this is in many situations. I mean, look at TikTok. TikTok uses an algorithm to promote pro-China content and suppress unfavorable posts to sway user views, according to a new study from the Network Contagion Research Institute. It also found, quote, compelling and strong circumstantial evidence that the app's content is being manipulated directly by the CCP. Meanwhile, a U.S. Army sergeant and intelligence analyst who had a top-secret security clearance pled guilty this week to charges related to selling national defense secrets to China. The indictment says that Sergeant Corbin Schultz was initially asked to provide documents detailing lessons learned from Russia's war in Ukraine and how they could be applied to the United States, responding to an attack on Taiwan. Congressman, this is just incredible that we have all of these companies in America and we've got people using these apps, TikTok, and in fact, it's just a tool of the Communist Party. And you've got companies trading on U.S. exchanges that are enabling American investors, unwitting or not, to fund the expansion of our number one enemy, our number one adversary, by investing in these companies. This is exactly what I spoke about in my special on Fox Nation, Underwriting the Enemy. So why, Congressman, are we underwriting the enemy?
Yeah, thank you for your attention on this, underwriting the enemy. Many American investors don't know that their ETFs or their mutual funds are exposed to investments in Chinese entities that actually threaten our national security. There are state-owned entities or connected in some way to the Chinese military. And so Americans don't want to be unwittingly financing the rise of the Chinese military capabilities. So we generally support cross-border capital flows. But when you have a national security risk like this, we think the right way to respond to that is through sanctions. The Biden administration has been very weak on sanctions. They have not used the power that the Department of Treasury has to sanction Chinese and other entities that threaten our national security. That's what we need to do to give the American investors and the private sector clarity what entities are permissible, what entities are not. We have a lot of Chinese entities that are listed, but they're not sanctioned, and my legislation would get at that. Yeah, TikTok is a huge threat to national security as well.
All right, Congressman, we're going to be watching your work on this. Very important work. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, Congressman Andy Barr.
Thank
Stay
you.
with us. We'll be right back.